Hey foodies, and welcome back to Cooking with Kiana, and boy do I have a delicious Super Bowl ready appetizer recipe for you guys. Today I'm going to be sharing my crispy garlic parmesan deep fried shrimp recipe with you guys. They are super crispy, they are delicious, and every time I make these for a family gathering or a get together, these are one of the first things to go. But before I begin, if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. That way you don't miss weekly recipes. Now let's get started. Alright, so here are all the ingredients that you are going to be needing for this recipe. Always remember, I will always have a full list of the recipe with the ingredients in the description box below, so you guys can go ahead and check that out. So let's start off with the ingredients for the garlic parmesan sauce. For that you'll need 4 tablespoons of butter, 1 teaspoon of crushed red pepper, 1 teaspoon of parsley flakes, 2 tablespoons of grated Parmesan, and 4 cloves of garlic. Make sure you chop that up. Do not use minced garlic. Make sure you guys use fresh garlic. Now let's move on to the seasonings that I'm going to be using to season up this shrimp. For that, I'm going to be using 1 teaspoon of complete seasoning, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, and 1 teaspoon of black pepper, as well as 1 teaspoon of lemon pepper seasoning. I'm also going to be using 1 large egg that's going to be going in that buttermilk mixture to make sure my shrimp sticks and we got a nice crispy battering on there. I'm going to be using a half a pound of shrimp. Of course, I went ahead and de-peeled and veined that. I just left the tails on. I'm also going to be using a cup of buttermilk and 2 tablespoons of hot sauce. And for the breading mixture, I'm going to be using a half a cup of cornstarch and a half a cup of flour. Of course, I'm going to go ahead and season that up. For seasonings, I'm going to be using 2 teaspoons of complete seasoning, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of black pepper, and half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. So let's begin by seasoning up our shrimp. Today, I'm going to be using a half a pound of shrimp. If you want to use a pound, just go ahead and double this recipe. So for seasoning, like I said earlier, I'm going to be using a teaspoon of complete, a teaspoon of lemon pepper, a teaspoon of garlic powder, and a teaspoon of black pepper. Now go ahead and add all of those seasonings into your bowl. Once you have those added, you're going to go in with your hands and just go ahead and massage all of that seasoning onto your shrimp. So now that we got that all mixed in, I'm going to go ahead and add in my cup of buttermilk and about 2 tablespoons of hot sauce. Pro tip, if you guys don't have any buttermilk, you can always substitute that for a cup of regular milk with 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. Now crack in your egg and whisk everything together until it is well combined. And trust me, this mixture is going to make your shrimp really crispy, light, and flaky, almost like popcorn shrimp. So just go ahead and give that a good stir, and you just want to make sure everything is well mixed. And once that is, we're going to go ahead and move over to our flour mixture. So right here I have my seasonings that I'm going to be adding to my flour mixture, which is really just onion powder, garlic powder, black pepper, and a half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper and some complete seasoning. So now I'm going to go ahead and add in my half a cup of cornstarch and my half a cup of flour. And I'm just going to go ahead and stir that until it is well combined and I don't see any more clumps of seasoning in there. Alright guys, so now it's time to coat these shrimp in the batter. So you just want to go ahead and coat that up. Make sure it is fully coated in that flour batter. And once you have that coated, you just want to go ahead and shake off that excess. And then we're going to go ahead and put that on a plate. You want to make sure you coat them all up first and put them on a plate before you even start frying. So do not go back and forth. It'll only take your shrimp about 3 minutes to fry in that oil. If you're going back and forth in between battering it and frying, you're going to end up overcooking your shrimp. So just do this one step at a time to avoid overcooked rubbery shrimp. So now that my shrimps are all nicely coated, it is time to start frying. So to fry, I'm going to be using some canola oil, but you can use any oil that is a high smoke point. You also want to make sure your temperature is at 350. Make sure that oil comes up to temperature before you add in your shrimps. Once you add in your shrimps, make sure you space them out and they are not touching. The shrimp should take no more than 3 minutes to cook, so you want to make sure you keep an eye on them. Once you're done removing them from the hot oil, you're going to go ahead and place them directly onto your cooling rack. It's so important to let them cool off on a cooling rack so they can remain nice and crispy. Now once your shrimp are all done frying, they should be nice and golden, crispy and brown like you see here. If you want to, you can stop right here and you'll have popcorn shrimp. But today we're making garlic parmesan fried shrimp. So let's go ahead and get started with making that garlic parmesan sauce. So to start off, you want to make sure your pan is on a medium to low heat, and you're going to add in about 4 tablespoons of butter and let that melt. Once that has melted, go ahead and add in your 4 cloves of garlic and give that a good stir for about 2 minutes, making sure you do not overcook your garlic. So make sure you do not brown your garlic because it will become very bitter in taste. At this point, you can go ahead and turn off your heat and add in your seasonings. For seasoning, I'm going to be adding in a teaspoon of parsley and a teaspoon of crushed red pepper. You're just going to go ahead and stir that all together. And lastly, I'm going to add in 2 tablespoons of grated Parmesan. It's important to add this in last because you don't want the grated Parmesan to melt in with the butter sauce. So go ahead and give that a good stir until everything is well combined. Now in a separate bowl, I'm going to go ahead and add in my fried shrimp. Then I'm going to drizzle that garlic Parmesan sauce on top. And now I'm just going to go ahead and pick up the bowl and give it a good toss. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, you can use a brush and just brush all that butter seasoning onto your deep fried shrimp. It's totally up to you. And man, just look how beautiful that garlic Parmesan deep fried shrimp looks. It looks absolutely delicious. I cannot wait for you guys to try this recipe. So let me go ahead and plate this and I'll be back with the finished result. And there you have it, crispy garlic parm deep fried shrimp. Hope you guys all enjoyed this recipe as much as I enjoyed making it. If you guys did, make sure you leave a like, leave a comment down below, letting me know how you liked the recipe. Also, if you guys made this at home, let me know how it came out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.